My mother froze with her lipstick still in her hand when I said it. It was secret. The whole room went silent. Even my sister stopped laughing. They thought I would just stand there and take the insults again, but not today. Not after what they did behind my back, and definitely not after what I had been building for years without telling a single soul. Before I continue, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what happened next turned this perfect wedding day into the moment my whole family realized who I had really become. My sister, Alina, let out this little scoff, the one she used whenever she wanted to show she was superior. Secret? Elora, please, you don't even have a boyfriend. Stop trying to ruin my moment. My mother didn't defend me. She never did. She raised her chin and said loudly, "Sweetheart, focus on helping your sister. Her wedding is the family's pride. Yours, well, we'll talk about that when you finally get your life together." Their words cut deep, but not because they were true, because they still believed I was the same girl they used to push aside. The girl who ate in her room because there was never space for her at the dining table. The girl who everyone said would end up working useless jobs forever. They had no idea what I had been doing late at night, what doors I had unlocked, what future I had secured while they laughed at me. I looked at the giant hall where guests were arriving, all dressed up, all excited. My mother had made sure everyone knew Alina was the successful daughter, the one with the perfect fiancé, the perfect dress, the perfect life. And she made sure they knew I was the quiet shadow standing behind her. "Tell us, Elora," my mother said with a cold smile. "What secret? Did you finally get a job that pays more than minimum wage?" People near us chuckled. My chest tightened, not with pain, but with the pressure of the truth I had been holding for months. I opened my mouth to speak, but before I could, my phone buzzed. A message. From someone they never expected. My mother frowned. "Who keeps texting you?" "A delivery guy." I didn't answer, because the name on my screen made my heart race. It wasn't a delivery guy. It was my lawyer. And the message he sent wasn't normal. It was the confirmation of something life-changing. Something no one in that hall could even imagine was connected to me. A confirmation tied to the secret that was about to flip the entire wedding upside down. My mother leaned closer. "What is it? Why do you look like that?" I met her eyes. "It's about my wedding," I said quietly. She blinked. Her smile faded. My sister suddenly stopped breathing. And the next words I spoke cracked the wedding day wide open. "Mom, I've been married for 6 months." My mother's hand slipped off my sister's veil like she'd been electrocuted. Alina's eyes widened so fast the mascara brush in her hand trembled. For a second, nobody moved, like the entire wedding hall forgot how to breathe. Then my mother whispered, "No, you're lying." Not angry, not loud, just terrified, because for the first time in her life, she wasn't in control. Guests nearby turned their heads, sensing drama before the ceremony even started. Alina stepped closer, her voice shaking. "Elora, what do you mean married? Married to WHO? When? How? You didn't even date anyone." She said it like I was incapable of being loved, like romance didn't belong to someone like me. The forgotten daughter, the backup child. But I didn't answer her. I didn't look at her. My eyes were locked on my mother because she was the one who needed to hear the truth first. She swallowed hard. You didn't tell us. You didn't even invite us." Her voice cracked with a mixture of confusion and fear. Real fear. And she should have been afraid, because this wasn't just about marriage. This was about everything they had done to me. Every humiliation. Every insult disguised as advice. Every time they told me my dreams were too big, my choices too stupid, my future too empty. I finally spoke. "I didn't invite you because you would have ruined it. Just like you're trying to ruin my life now." My mother stiffened. My sister gasped. But before either of them could respond, someone behind me said, "Elora." I turned, and my heart thumped. It was him. The man they didn't know existed. The man I had married in silence. The man they once mocked without even knowing his name. My sister's jaw nearly hit the floor. My mother's eyes darted between us like she was trying to make sense of a puzzle with missing pieces. He stepped closer and slipped his hand into mine, calm and confident. "Everything okay?" My mother forced a shaky smile. You're Elora's husband?" He nodded politely. "Yes. And I think it's time they knew why we kept it quiet." Alina blurted out. Are you rich or something? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Because at that exact moment, the massive hall door swung open, and a team of security staff from the venue rushed toward us. The entire wedding stopped. Everyone stared. My mother panicked. What is happening? Why are they coming here? One of the security managers approached and bowed slightly. Ma'am, we need to speak with your daughter. Mrs. Elora Carter. Carter. Not my old family name. My mother froze as the realization hit her. She whispered, Carter, as in that Carter? But before she could get the words out fully, the manager said something that sent a shockwave through the entire hall. Mrs. Carter, your private suite and VIP lounge are ready. The owner asked us to escort you and your husband immediately. The owner? Of the wedding venue. My mother clutched her chest. My sister whispered, No way. Because this place wasn't a regular hall. It was one of the most expensive wedding venues in the entire state. And my husband, the man they thought didn't exist, wasn't just rich. He owned the building they were standing in. And they had no idea. My mother's knees almost buckled when the manager said owner. She grabbed the nearest chair like her entire world had tilted. My sister looked around in pure panic, as if cameras were secretly recording her reaction for a reality show. The guests began whispering, their voices rising with every second. Elora, you married into the Carter family, one aunt whispered. Why didn't they tell us? Another cousin muttered. But my mother didn't look at anyone. She looked only at me, the daughter she spent her whole life underestimating. The daughter she told would never be anything. The daughter she pushed aside so she could shine Alina like a trophy. Her voice trembled. Elora, is this true? You married him. My husband squeezed my hand with a quiet confidence. We kept it private for a reason, he said. Elora asked me to stay silent until the time was right. Alina couldn't accept it. But why her? Why would you pick her? You barely know her. Her jealousy was so obvious it hung in the air like smoke. She wasn't just shocked. She was angry that my story suddenly mattered more than her wedding. He turned to Alina, his tone steady. We've known each other for 3 years. We built something real, something private. Not everything is meant to be shown off. My mother stared at him as if she was trying to read his soul. You own this place, this multi-million-dollar venue. He nodded. Yes, and 5 more across the state. A collective gasp rippled through the hall. Alina's fiancé whispered to one of his groomsmen, Why didn't anyone tell us the sister was loaded? That one sentence burned my mother's ears. But she still tried to regain control. She forced a smile, stepped forward, and said, Well, sweetheart, you should have told us. You know we would have supported you. It was the fakest sentence she ever spoke. And my husband saw right through it. That's strange, he said calmly. Because Elora told me how you treated her after she got her first job. She told me how you mocked her business idea. How you told her she wasn't wedding material. My mother's face cracked. She misunderstood. She didn't, he cut in, without raising his voice. She just stopped accepting it. A stunned silence. Then the manager interrupted again. Sir, the VIP lounge is ready. Would you like me to escort your family as well? Before I could speak, my mother stepped forward instantly. Yes, take us too. No, my husband said gently. The hall went dead quiet. He glanced at me, letting me decide. And for the first time in my life, I had all the power. I looked at my mother, at my sister, at every relative who laughed at me, dismissed me, and compared me to Alina like I wasn't even part of the same bloodline. My mother whispered, Elora, don't do this, people are watching. Exactly. People were watching. And this time, they were watching me. Not her, not Alina. I took a slow breath. You said this wedding had to be perfect. I told her softly. But today isn't about your perfect world. Today is about the truth. Her face fell. My eyes hardened. You humiliated me for years. Not anymore. I'm done standing behind you. She blinked rapidly, trying to process, trying to salvage her pride. Elora, please don't embarrass us. I stepped back and slipped my hand into my husband's. I'm not embarrassing you, I said. I'm exposing what you never wanted anyone to see. The guests leaned in. The whispers grew. And then the final blow hit. My husband turned to the manager. Please escort only my wife and me. The manager nodded. Of course, sir. We walked away, past the silver decorations, past the shocked crowd, past my sister who looked like her entire wedding had shattered before it even began. But as we reached the stairs toward the private lounge, a sudden voice echoed behind us. Elora, wait! It wasn't my mother. It wasn't my sister. It was someone whose arrival would flip the entire story again. Someone I never expected to show up at this wedding. And someone who knew the truth my family feared the most. The moment I turned around, my heart slammed against my ribs. Because the voice wasn't just familiar. It was a voice I prayed I'd never hear again. Standing at the entrance, breathless, holding a small folder in his hand, was my father. The same man who walked out on us years ago. The same man my mother always blamed for ruining everything. The same man who knew secrets she spent her whole life hiding. The entire hall froze. My mother's face went white. Alina's smile collapsed. And every guest leaned forward like they were watching a live drama explode. He walked toward us slowly, eyes locked on my mother. You told them nothing, didn't you? He said. My mother's voice shook. This is not the time. Oh, it's exactly the time, he replied, lifting the folder. They deserve to know the truth you buried for years. People whispered louder now. My sister grabbed her fiancé's arm. My mother looked like her lungs had stopped working. I felt my husband tighten his grip on my hand. What truth? I asked, my voice steady but terrified. My father looked straight at me, and in one sentence destroyed everything my mother built her pride on. Elora, he said softly, you were always the better one. Not Alina. You were the one I wanted to take with me, but your mother stopped me. She knew your talent would outgrow her control. Gasps exploded across the room. My mother's knees actually buckled this time. But he wasn't done. He opened the folder and held up documents. Real ones, stamped and dated. This, he said, is the investment agreement I signed with you, Elora. The one that helped your business grow. You didn't know it came from me because your mother hid every message I sent. She didn't want you to succeed. She wanted you to stay small. It felt like someone pulled the floor out from under me. My throat tightened. My chest burned. Everything I believed twisted. My mother burst out. That's a lie. I protected her. You protected your ego, my father snapped. You protected Alina's spotlight. But you didn't protect Elora. You smothered her. Alina stepped in, shaking. Dad, stop. You're ruining my wedding. He turned to her sharply. No. The moment you two mocked your sister for not being perfect. You ruined it. Everyone stared, waiting for my reaction, waiting to see who I would believe. My mother reached for my hand. Elora, I did everything for you. You're my daughter. My father stepped closer too. Elora, you deserve the truth. And you deserve to choose for yourself. And in that moment, every eye in the room landed on me. The daughter who was always silent. The girl who was always pushed in the corner. The woman who now held the power to shatter or save every relationship in this hall. My voice trembled as I opened my mouth to speak. But just then, my sister screamed. Everyone turned. And what we saw next made the entire wedding spiral into chaos. Alina wasn't screaming at me. She was staring past me, her face drained of all color, her bouquet slipping from her hands like her bones had turned to water. Guests gasped. Chairs scraped. Someone whispered. Oh my God! I turned, slowly, because something in her eyes told me this wasn't normal panic. And then I saw it. Her groom, the man she was supposed to marry in the next 20 minutes, was on his knees in the middle of the hall, begging another woman not to leave, a woman none of us had ever seen. She stood tall, chin lifted, eyes filled with betrayal, and on her hand, a diamond ring, not a small one, a fiancé's ring. My mother staggered forward. What is this? The woman turned to the entire hall, her voice shaking with rage. He told me he was single. He told me he was traveling for work. He told me this wedding was only a temporary event for his family. She threw a stack of printed messages at him. They scattered on the floor like fallen lies. I found out he was getting married today, she said, glaring at Alina. So I came to see for myself. My sister looked like her entire world exploded. Michael, tell me this is not real. Please. But the groom had nothing. No words. Just silence. A brutal, unforgiving silence. Gasps rippled through the hall like a wave crashing into stone. My mother collapsed into a chair, shaking her head. No, not today, not at my daughter's wedding. My father stepped back, watching everything unfold like fate was finally balancing the scales. My husband leaned closer to me and whispered, "They didn't respect your silence, but today, the truth spoke louder than all of them." The hall buzzed with chaos, guests yelling, cameras recording, family arguing, but through all of it I stood still. Calm. Finally the one holding the power. Then my mother looked up at me, eyes broken, voice small. "Elora, please help your sister. Say something. Fix this." For the first time in my life, she was asking me for something, and I knew exactly what to say. I stepped forward, met her eyes, and whispered, "You wanted perfection, Mom. You just never realized. You were breaking the wrong daughter." My mother froze. My sister dropped to the floor, sobbing. My father lowered his head, and I walked away with my husband, hand in hand, past every whisper, every stare, every person who once looked down on me. Because the truth was out, the masks were off, and for the first time ever, I wasn't the forgotten one. I was the one they'd never ignore again.